Sandman.
Greetings. There are many unimaginable and terrifying creatures in Howard Lovecraft's mythology. In this video I will tell you about one of them. Shub Niggurath, called the Black Goat of the Woods with 1,000 Young, is an outer god in the Cthulhu Mythos Howard Lovecraft. The only other name by which Lovecraft referred to her was Lord of the Wood, in his story The Whisperer in Darkness. The being first appeared in Lovecraft's revision story, The Last Test, 1928. In Lovecraft's fiction, she is never actually described, but is frequently mentioned or called upon in incantations. Shub Niggurath also appears in the works of other mythos authors, including August Derleth, Ramsey Campbell, Lynn Carter, and Brian Lumley. Shub Niggurath is an outer god, or outer goddess, in the pantheon. She is a perverse fertility deity, said to appear as an evil cloud-like entity. An enormous mass which extrudes black tentacles, slime-dripping mouths, and short, writhing goat legs. Small creatures are continually spat forth by the monstrosity, which are either consumed into the miasmatic form or escape to some monstrous life elsewhere. She is the wife of the not-to-be-named one and of Yog-Sothoth, which birthed the twins Nug and Yeb. Of all the mythos deities, Shub Niggurath is probably the most extensively worshipped. Her worshippers include the Hyperboreans, the Muvians, and the people of Sarnath, as well as any number of druidic and barbaric cults. She is also worshipped by the non-human species of the mythos, such as the fungi from Yuggoth, also known as Migo, the Kaanyanians, and the Nugsoth of Yadith. With the proper occult paraphernalia, Shub Niggurath can be summoned to any woodlands at the time of the new moon. However, the place from whence she comes is not known. One possibility is that she dwells at the court of Azathoth at the center of the universe. She may also live beneath the planet Yadith, where she is served by the Doles. It is also possible that she lives in another dimension altogether. The dark young of Shub Niggurath are horrifying, pitch-black monstrosities, seemingly made of ropey tentacles. They stand as tall as a tree, perhaps between 12 and 20 feet tall, on several pairs of stumpy, hoofed legs. A mass of tentacles protrudes from their trunks where a head would normally be, and puckered maws, dripping green goo, cover their flanks. The monsters roughly resemble trees in silhouette, the trunks being the short legs and the tops of the trees represented by the ropey, branching bodies. A congregation of these abominations smells like an open grave. They usually dwell in woodlands wherever Shub Niggurath's cult is active. They're sometimes mistaken for Shoggoths. The dark young are usually called upon to preside over cult ceremonies. One means for summoning them is found in the Book of Iban and requires a blood offering. The ritual may only be performed in the deep of the woodlands at the darkest of the moon, and the victim must be sacrificed over a stone altar. Dark young act as proxies for Shub Niggurath in the accepting of sacrifices and the worship of cultists, in the devouring of non-cultists, and in the spreading of their mother's faith across the world. Although Shub Niggurath is often associated with the epithet, the Black Goat of the Woods with 1,000 Young, it is possible that this black goat is a separate entity. Rodolfo Ferrarese, in his essay The Question of Shub Niggurath, says that Lovecraft himself separated the two in his writings, such as in Out of the Aeons, in which a distinction is made between Shub Niggurath and the Black Goat. The goat is the figurehead through which Shub Niggurath is worshipped. In apparent contrast to Shub Niggurath, the Black Goat is sometimes depicted as a male, most notably in the rite performed in The Whisperer in Darkness, in which the Black Goat is called the Lord of the Woods. However, Lovecraft clearly associates Shub Niggurath with the Black Goat of the Woods with 1,000 Young in two of his stories, The Dreams in the Witch House and The Thing on the Doorstep. It is possible that the Black Goat is actually Nyarlathotep, Shub Niggurath's brother. The Black Goat may also be the personification of Pan, since Lovecraft was influenced by Arthur Machen's The Great God Pan, a story that inspired Lovecraft's The Dunwich Horror. In this incarnation, the Black Goat may represent Satan in the form of the satyr, a half-man, half-goat. In folklore, the satyr symbolized a man with excessive sexual appetites. The Black Goat may otherwise be a male, earthly form of Shub Niggurath, an incarnation she assumes to copulate with her worshippers. The great god Pan is an avatar of Shub Niggurath. The current residence of Shub Niggurath remains a mystery. A popular hypothesis is the planet Yadith, beneath the surface of which it resides with its dole servitors. However, it is postulated in Richard Tierney's The Lords of Pain that the Black Goat of the Woods came to Earth, building the city of Harad Kalath in a cavern beneath southern Arabia, though it's possible the cavern and Harad Kalath exist conterminously with Yadith or are linked to it. In The Horror in the Gallery, by Lynn Carter, it is claimed that Shub Niggurath came to Earth from Yadith in prehistoric times, but was sent back to Yadith by the elder gods. It is also possible that Shub Niggurath remains at the court of Azathoth, or even in another dimension entirely.